So the committee, going through the constitution of the profession and also the code of ethics, decided to recommend for his suspension indefinitely until he purges himself of things that he couldn't come to substantiate. And so a young state surveyor in my own branch, Abuja branch, was the first person that was suspended under the zero tolerance for indiscipline. Thank you. Good evening, viewers. I'm delighted to welcome you back to the videos of the stories of my life. Recall that in the last episode, I told you about my ascendancy to the office of the president of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers by divine enablement and divine arrangement. I also went further to tell you a little about what God used me to achieve. I talked about the key projects of my administration within the 2.5 years I served as president of Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors. The profession had no permanent address in Abuja, even though we are realtors. It took us that long to be properly established here in the city of Abuja. But it's a passion and vision God gave to me on assuming office to carry on with the 5 floors office complex of the profession that has been completed today through courtesy of one of the presidents that came after me, and also who, I must mention his name, ESV Jombul Amanyabo, who also made sure that he relocated the secretariat from the rented apartment to that permanent site. The day of that commissioning was a very memorable and spirit-filled, impactful day for me, because I remembered how God made this an important project in my tenure and how God led me with a cash balance of 15 million naira to bring that building that was estimated then to cost 650 million naira to the roofing level and finishing of the reception before I handed over. And today, I am going to share in other areas that God used me. I have also mentioned before that on the day I was elected, God used my mouth to say certain things concerning the profession. One of them was the mantra for my administration: zero tolerance for indiscipline. When I spoke that day, I had it clear coming from God to say that this regime will not tolerate indiscipline, will not tolerate anything that is crooked. I'm talking about the regime of 2018 to 2020 when I was president. So, as it were, I started work. And it wasn't too long when I started work. But let me give you background. The profession was operating a free-for-all action membership. When, before I came in as president, we saw our members take advantage of the social media to discredit quite a lot of our ethics and standards in the things they issued out to the public space, such that it got to a point that when I was the first vice president, DSS had to invite the leadership of our profession to their office because some members were criticizing government in a very negative way. Not only that, we are also becoming personal to people that were occupying public offices. So DSS took it upon themselves to go and, pick out everything said by estate surveyors in their platform and other spaces in the public space, and then compile them. And they were 6-volume files. And so when they invited the leadership, the national president then, who is resident in Lagos, decided that I, being in Abuja as first vice president, should lead the delegation of members to that meeting with DSS. And it was at that place they showed us these 6 volumes containing postings of estate surveyors and valuers, which the DSS was beginning to feel that they were subversive, that they were pulling down the officers, public officers, and also pulling down the efforts of government. And so it was at that instant a peace meeting to say, you leaders in the profession, go back home and take care of your home fronts. People have right to do freedom of speech, but they should be sure of what they write. And of course, that was the background. I believe that God echoed by speaking through me on the day of election to say that there will be zero tolerance for indiscipline. And so, on ethical standard, we started work to make sure that our people do things the right way. There are a number of instances which happened that will actually explain what I'm saying properly. Immediately after taking office, there was an incident here in the city of Abuja where a young man who said he went to mountain to pray, that he received a revelation that some elected officers used voodoo means to become officers of the profession. And then he was putting curses and all manners of things in the platform of naives. And so we reached out to him to say, take down this, because the image you are portraying is not good for the profession, and you cannot substantiate your allegation. So on approaching him, the young man insisted that he knew what he was saying. So we decided to set up a disciplinary committee to confirm, let him verify what he's saying, and then let us take necessary steps. But he turned down appearing before that committee, and every action taken to get him to attend to the committee invitations did not receive his positive response. So the committee, going through the constitution of the profession and also the code of ethics, decided to recommend for his suspension indefinitely until he purges himself of things that he couldn't come to substantiate. And so a young estate surveyor in my own branch, Abuja branch, was the first person that was suspended under this zero tolerance for indiscipline. And of course, a lot of action followed that. And I think that there will be opportunity. Again, I will continue in this video to share more of such opportunities or such steps we took to bring back discipline into the profession. Thank you very much, viewers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that in the wilderness, certain people rose up against Moses, and they wanted to elect another leader or appoint another leader to take them back to Egypt. But a severe judgment of God came upon Dathan and Abiram, who withstood Moses in the wilderness. This is what we were saying last week about leadership not doing anything about lawlessness. So how can you be a member of a profession or a professional body, then you go and register another one, and you are conversing that the members of the body you are leaving to come and join your own, and then you are soliciting funds? That is insult at the highest level to your own profession. Again, there is an angle to this thing that is more than meets the eye. When people take on such effrontery against leadership, it's not just by words of mouth. What they are doing behind the scene, the powers they are consulting, the evil forces they are drawing their strength from, they are not light matters at all. But let me tell you, the Bible says, and ye are complete in him. This is Colossians chapter 2 verse 10. Ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power. What is his name? Jesus. If you have Jesus in your life, he who is in you is greater than him who is in the world. Whatever powers they deploy against you, you will always find yourself a winner. Because every power, every principality, every name that is named, every force, every ruler of darkness, all of them are subject to Jesus. Are you in Jesus? Do you have a personal relationship with Jesus? Do you talk to him and he talks to you? Can you report an issue to him and expect an answer from him? If you don't have a relationship with Jesus, you are living very dangerously. The devil can make suya with your life anytime. One of the reasons why we're sending out these clips is to invite you to consider Jesus and his claims over your life. If you want to be safe, if you want to be protected, hand over your life to Jesus. You will not be a fool to give up what you cannot keep, to gain what you cannot lose. Hand over your life to Jesus. Thanks for tuning in again today. Please do not forget to subscribe to this our channel. Forward these clips to your friends and see what God can use you to do in this evil and crooked generation where God expects you to shine as light. Be blessed.